Hello, everyone. We are going to talk about what is a project in IT. Before we proceed forward and try to understand what is a waterfall, what are the benefits of Agile, and in fact, we take a step forward to understand what is Agile and what are the benefits of Agile. It's important that what is a project in IT. Today, in this session, our learning objective would be to understand what is the origin of a project in IT, how projects are originated from the customer perspective, what is the revenue, profit, loss, and the cost associated with their enterprise. And once the projects are originated, how do we identify customers' problem and try to suggest them that what project can be initiated within that organization. Once the project is initiated, we will talk about what would happen if we execute that project in a waterfall option or agile option. We will go through both of these case studies, and then at the end, we would review agile versus waterfall. So we'll have a quick review of what we have gained or lost during the if we adopt waterfall or the agile option. So let's take a quick look into it. Most of the times, we are all assigned to a project, and we have touched upon either the scope, cost, or timeline to finish the project. We have seen that there is so much scope to be finished for the project, or some of us might have experienced that this much is the cost associated with the project. And timeline, we all have faced it in our lifetime. So these are the three factors to we know about the project that we are working on. We all are assigned to a project. But do we ever wonder why and how these projects are initiated? Once the project is initiated, we are assigned to that project. But even if we take a step forward and try to understand what's the origination of the project, how these projects are initiated in IT, let's observe a few reasons why projects are initiated in IT. Project can be initiated because of multiple reasons, and I've tried to capture some of those here. It can be originated due to a market demand that. For example, in a COVID kind of crisis, if no market demands something specific to handle, COVID crisis, that's a market demand. It can be a strategic opportunity or a business need, wherein the business feels that by executing this project, we can take benefit over our competitors. It can be a social need, environmental consideration, or technology advancement, or legal requirement. One of the other factor can be that it can be originated because of customer request to give an enhanced user to their end users. I have highlighted customer request and enhanced experience because I'm going to talk about that, and I would take that as an example in this project origination. So let's move forward and take a step on that. Understanding revenue, cost, and profit. Before we even try to understand the origination of a project, it is a good idea to understand from the customer perspective or from any enterprise perspective that what's their revenue, cost, and profit model. Let's take a quick look in that. I'm taking a case study for an airline booking. Of course, just to tell you so that we can sync and understand, what can be the overall revenue bucket. So from an enterprise perspective, let's say there is an airline customer. So I've tried to highlight some of their revenue bucket. I've just come up as a mock revenue bucket. I don't know whether it's true or not. So just for the illustration purpose, I have highlighted some of the revenue bucket. Ticket booking is contributing $55 million of revenue in a year. And all of these are yearly revenue bucket. So looking at the total revenue, we can understand that customer is earning around 100 million revenue per year. And how is this revenue coming from? These are coming from different revenue bucket. It can be ticket booking, it can be cargo booking, it can be ancillaries, vacation or pantry revenue. So for the illustration purpose, majority of the revenue for the customer in this illustration is coming from ticket booking. The next major revenue is coming from ancillaries booking. The third one coming from cargo and vacation, and the last one coming from pantry. Once we know the source of revenue for the customer, we can better target those to understand that, what can be done on that. Revenue is not the only thing. Our customer was earning 100 million revenue a year, but along with that comes cost. Customer is also spending a lot of yearly cost on some of their cost bucket. For the illustration, these are not true cost bucket, but for the illustration purpose, I have come up with some of the cost bucket. He may be spending $5 million for airport staff payroll. He may be spending $5 million for BPO call center. So in this case study, which I'm going to talk about, I'll take you 10, 20 years back, wherein in order to book our flight, there was no UI available for you to just go and search for the flight, book it, payment it, do your payment and get the confirmation. Earlier, we used to call the customer 800 numbers so that it's connected to their BPO center. And then we were talking to them. I have to go from JFK to Boston. Then their answer would be that there are 4 possible options on these dates. And each possible option cost me this, this, and this. And then we used to pick and choose from those options, provide them our credit card or a method of payment, and they used to give us a confirmation. So I'm just taking you back 10, 20 years back. Let's consider that 20 years back, and there is a BPO call center exists for that airline customer to book the ticket for all the customers. So that's an example of that. And they may be spending 10 million on their IT infrastructure, office space on the 10 million, and there are so on and so forth. Bucket 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 are not highlighted. I'm just assuming that they are spending 10 million each in each of the bucket. So for this illustration perspective, what we are trying to understand is that their cost bucket is around $80 million. So now we understand that customer is getting a revenue $100 million a year. He is spending around $80 million. So we have understood revenue and cost for the customer overall from the yearly perspective. We have gone through all the revenue bucket and cost buckets. Now let's try to understand what's a profit. It's a simple formula. Revenue minus cost becomes the profit. So in this case, customer was earning 100 million revenue and the cost was 80 million. So customer was able to make 20 million profit. So this is an illustration of if the profit or the revenue or the cost remains same over a course of next 20 years, then the customer would be maintaining a consistent flow of profit that is $20 million starting from year 1 to year 20 and so forth and so on. The question is it enough? Is it good? So I will take some of the examples. Though we are saying that customer is getting a consistent profit of 20 million, why there would be a need to increase the profit year on year? Consider an example that if we all are getting the salary, which is a good salary, but is it okay for us to get that consistent salary over year and year? I think the answer is no. Same goes in that bucket, because some of the companies are public listed company. Even if they are private companies, the idea is if we want to take that company forward, increase the profit year on year, increase your salary year on year. So everybody feels happy when their profits are increasing over a year. A consistent profit across 20 years is okay, but not a happy state. So now, what would this customer want? This customer would want to increase its profit from 20 million to XXX. He don't know what is that amount. That's the customer goal, to increase the profit. That if year 1 he is getting 20 million profit, how can he increase it to the next number? Big question is how? We all know profit can either be maximized only by using 2 approaches. Either you increase your revenue or you reduce your cost. Customer knows that by increasing its revenue or reducing the cost, he can increase the profit. But problem statement still remains same. How to increase the profit? I know that I can increase my revenue or I can reduce my cost to increase the profit. But how do I do that? The big question remains the same. So what do customers do in that case? They can work internally in the organization, or they can ask the experts. they can hire experts or the consultants to provide options. Who are these experts? These experts are industry experts who have knowledge, industry-wide knowledge, and who comes with the consulting experience. So they co-create, co-innovate innovation. They have basically good grasp of business and technology services. They know the change of speed and scale. So all these factors contribute when we ask an expert. An expert, these are some of the factors highlighted here, but an expert should have knowledge across the industry so that they can give benefit to the customer. So these experts are hired by the customer so that they can provide them options that what can be done in their enterprise to increase the profit. Again, let me remind you, we have talked about increasing the profit either can come from increasing the revenue or decreasing the cost. So let's take a closer look at it. What would an expert or consultant do in this case? We know they are industry experts, but they have been hired by the customer to suggest options that how do my goal is to increase the profit from 20 million to XXX. I don't know what is that. So I've hired the expert and I've asked them that, provide me options. So how would these experts or the consultant work on that? What would they do actually? So initially, in the consulting phase, some of the experts will be called. They will go through all their revenue buckets. They will talk to their concerned stakeholders. They will do a consulting exercise to understand. And in fact, I will call it as an opportunity exercise to identify what are the opportunities for cost saving or the revenue increase and present to customer. How it will be done? It can be done by talking to partners, doing the value proposition, or identifying their revenue stream, going details into their cost buckets, and understanding what can be done to either increase the profit, increase the revenue, or decreasing the cost to increase the profit for the customer. Let's take an example that the experts were hired. They have done their opportunity analysis in 2 to 3 months by talking to all these stakeholders, going into detail of their revenue buckets, cost bucket, and they have presented this to customer. For the illustration purpose, I have identified 3 cost buckets. The first 3 are the cost bucket, wherein let's say consultant have proposed that for each cost bucket, how much is the investment needed, and how much is the cost reduction that it can give. So first cost bucket talks about making an investment of $25 million, and which will yield, this is a one-time investment for all the cost bucket, and it will yield a 5 million profit over and over year and year. Similarly, I have not illustrated, just for the illustration purpose, I have identified a couple of the revenue increasing opportunity also, which is showing us that by investing how much amount for doing something, it can increase the revenue by $1 million. So let's say this was a case study presented by the consultants or by the experts to the customer. What would happen after that? Prioritize low-hanging fruits. Which one you choose from the above example? Customer cannot execute everything because we are talking about spending around more than $100 million of the investment to either reduce their cost or increase the revenue. So in this case, if we clearly see that for all the other options other than first, for this illustration purpose, I've written a value that is not so lucrative. So for rest of the, if you go ahead, see the cost and the revenue buckets other than first. So by spending $10 million, you are either getting, for each of the opportunity, you are either getting a cost reduction of $1 million or revenue increase of $1 million, which is 10% of your investment. But in the first initiative, if you are investing $25 million, you are getting 5 million cost reduction year and year. So customer, that's what basically I call is a low hanging fruit. Customer has picked up this initiative. That what they want to do is that reduced cost by building an IT system and provide a UI to the end customer to book ticket themselves in place of relying on BPO associates. So idea of this project is slowly eliminate the need of BPO associates and customers, and give customer an IT system or a UI so that they can book their ticket by themselves, eliminating the need or dependency on the BPO systems. And solution, Solution was given that no, it will take 5 years to build the IT system in a waterfall costing 5 million each year. So when I'm saying 5 million each year, I'm breaking down this investment of 25 million over a period of next 5 years. So each year customer will be paying $5 million, and it will take 5 years to build that IT system. And after 5 years, customer can expect that their BPO system will go away, and they will give an UI for the end customer to book the tickets by themselves. And thus, the BPO cost, which was $5 million, will be reduced after the system is implemented. So now we know that no, a project is originated. Earlier, whatever was booked using a BPO call center, or end customer used to call BPO to book the flights. Now we are looking for that there will be online booking prepared as a part of this project. So this is how a project is originated. So prepare IT application for customer to book flights on their own. Call centers to online booking path. Now we all know we are talking about a proposed timeline of 5 years. Total investment is 25 million, which is spread over 5 years. So customer would be paying $5 million to these consultants or whosoever is basically implementing this project. And then over a period of 5 years total, they will be paying $25 million. And proposed year-on-year saving once this project is implemented is $5 million. What are the benefits that customer would realize? By going from call center versus online, it's convenient, ease of use for the end customer, and for the customer himself. It's basically a cost effective for the organization, because once this project is initiated, it will eliminate the need of maintaining a BPO call center and will reduce the cost by $5 million per year. Question remains, waterfall or agile? What options do we take? So that's the question that remains in the mind, which is the best approach to execute that. Let's take this illustration forward and understand the waterfall option. Waterfall option. What is a waterfall option? As we all know, it is a waterfall. Waterfall, requirements to design, design to development, development to testing, testing to deployment and maintenance. That means it's a phased gate approach. Until requirements are completed, design cannot start. Design is completed, development cannot start. So we're talking about that a team of consultants will be there who would be doing a detailed requirement analysis for that airline customer, understanding each and every need, each and every flow of booking flow, understanding all the payment types, understanding all the travelers type. So a detailed requirement analysis will be done. And of course, for such a, just for illustration purpose, I have taken a example of 5 years. So to do such a detailed analysis, we would need a big team of business analysts who would be doing the requirement analysis. So let's assume that year one goes into requirement analysis, and potential output are business requirement document and system requirement document, which would further feed into design. So design team starts working on year two. So they take the output from the requirements. They know the business requirement document or system requirement document. All the requirements through the airline industry are documented in this format. So that becomes the input for the design. And then high-level design, low-level design, and the architecture document is prepared in year two. Because it's a big system, so we are talking about requirement have taken 1 year, design have taken 1 year, and then development have taken another 2 years. And again, the input to the development is the requirement document as well as high-level design, low-level design, and architecture document. So development was done in year 3 and year 2, and year 5 went into testing, user acceptance testing, and at the end of the year 5, the value is realized. The value is realized, the system is completed, deployed, and customer can use that. So we can go fast forward 5 years ahead and see that the system is deployed and yielding value to the customer. This was basically a waterfall model, and we have seen a couple of big projects. If you are wondering that why 5 years, we have seen a couple of big projects in the waterfall model. They used to take up to this much time to realize value. So that's basically what we do in the waterfall. So now what happens? Let's try to consolidate and see that what happened in the waterfall model. Value realization, because we have gone through requirement, design, development, testing. Value is realized, or the system is deployed to production after 5 years. Additional saving for the customer. Starting 6th year, the customer would not pay for 5 million every year for maintaining a BPO call center because that's eliminated. So starting 6th year, customer will get additional saving of $5 million. Return of investment, I'll talk about that, but it takes 10 years for customer to get the return of investment. He has invested $25 million. To get that $25 million back in his pocket, it takes overall a 10 year. Let's try to understand what happened here. So customer was earning a total revenue of, profit of $20 million, initiated a project. Year on year, he has spent $5 million for 5 years to build the IT system. IT system in waterfall model was deployed at the end of the 5th year, eliminating the need or the cost of BPO call center. So if you see that, these decrease in the cost bucket, the $5 million, it starts 6th year, wherein BPO call center is not needed anymore. So it is giving an additional benefit of $5 million. So this is a reduction in the cost for the customer after 5th year. So if you see that overall profit, which has decreased in the first 5 years because customer is investing additional $5 million each year to build this IT system or investing in the project. That's the reason their profit change year on year for the first 5 years was 5 million down every year for first 5 years and 5 million up for the next following years. 20 years, 30 years, this system will work. Return of investment. If you see that customer, whatever he has invested for the first 5 years marked in red here, it will take him another 5 years to get his $25 million back with the $0 value. So it takes him a return of investment takes 10 years overall to get it back to customer's pocket. So that's this illustration is talking about. What happened in waterfall model? It's a traditional model of IT development. Some of the companies are still adopting that, but it takes time. So product or the value delivered is at the end of the complete SDLC life cycle, which is after 5 years. We have seen in our illustration. Customer, and we have also seen in the previous slide that customers start paying for the development cost starting from first year, right? That's where their revenue goes down. So for the first year, they have paid $5 million for the requirement analysis, even if requirements were taking place and their revenue is going down. Second year, design, third and fourth year development, fifth year testing. Consider a scenario in this. If a COVID side-like situation happened at the end of second year, what would happen? What does customer have in hand? So customer have detailed requirements documented in hand, and customer have detailed design, high-level design, low-level design, and architecture document in hand. And if for any reason customer have to stop his budget starting third year, and let's say they don't want to contribute anymore because of the crisis or the cost management within the enterprise, what is the value customer is getting? There is no value for the end customer other than they have the detailed requirement document and design. But these detailed requirement document and design will not help customer to reduce the cost of their BPO call center. I just want you to note, we'll come back to that. So without seeing any output, customer is investing $5 million year on year, and he will be seeing the output only after 5 years. That's the value realized we talked about. Moreover, let's assume a scenario that when we are in testing phase in 5th year and customer wants to make some changes, what would happen? It will cost them additional money, additional time, detailed analysis, a change request will be initiated. That's what waterfall model is all about. This is what we have lived in past. So this is what is a waterfall model in a nutshell. Let's try to understand what is an agile option. Agile, as you all know, Agile is a 2-week sprint. Quick overview of Agile. In Agile, what do we do is the sprint consists of 2 to 4 weeks in which we take care of small requirements from the product backlog and we create a sprint goal. Let's say, just 2% of the requirement, overall requirement, we take them in the sprint. We try to do that in the sprint. The sprint is a time box event for 2 to 4 weeks. And idea is that at the end of the sprint, the team is realizing some value. Value in the sense they are demonstrating whatever they have developed at the end of the sprint one. Before I go forward on that, I'll just explain you 20-80 rule. That's my favorite rule that always works. 20% of the requirements drive 80% of the business. Though in the waterfall, we have seen that we have taken 1 year to detail down each and every requirement. But Now, idea is to understand that let's say if there are 100 requirements, most of the time we'll realize that there are 20 such requirements which are revenue, which are realizing 40 or 50 or 60 or 80% of the business. So idea is to identify what are those requirements. That's where I say prioritize requirements. Highest priority requirements implemented first in Agile, value realized early. So what we'll have to do is before even we start sprint one or we start executing the requirements, that needs a planning upfront. So planning is done to identify what are those highest priority requirements, which is 20% of the requirement drive 80% of the business. Once those requirements are identified, they are tagged as MVP, minimum viable product. We'll talk about that in some other session in detail. So consider it as a bucket that under MVP one bucket, those top 25% of the requirements are documented, which is realized basically contributing to 40% of the calls. So in this case, I would say identify those top 25% of the requirement, which is contributing to 40% calls in the BPO call center. Because if you implement those requirements in year one using Agile and deploy that in production, so 40% of the calls on the call center can be reduced. That means 40% of the call center cost can be eliminated. That's a value realized at the end of the year one for the customer. Similarly, next set of prioritized requirements tagged in the bucket MVP2, which basically, let's say, saves 20% of the call volume for the BPO. But that way, customer can eliminate that 20% cost and so on and so forth. Let's see a quick illustration of that. So what would happen in this? Value realization start 1 year because those 25% of the requirements, which is yielding 40% of the calls to the call center, have been put in the system. The IT system is developed for those 25% of the requirement and we have deployed that in production. So now for those end users, they don't need to call those call centers anymore. If you fall in this 25% of the requirements or the flow, you can directly go ahead and book your tickets. You don't need to call the call center anymore. And that basically is a wonderful technique wherein you can eliminate 40% of the call in year one. Additional saving start second year because starting second year, once at the end of, I mean, I'm just taking an example of 1 year, but Agile can be quicker than that. So in starting first year, once the system is deployed, starting second year, the customer can eliminate the 40% of the cost for call center because it's no longer needed because the end customer have the IT system built to handle those requirements for the end customers. Return of investment 7 years. I'll show you in the illustration how it happens. In this, the customer cost bucket remains same over year and year. He is investing 5 million every year to execute or to basically build this project. But what is happening at the end of the first year when we have completed MVP1 with this 25% of the highest priority requirement, which is reducing call volume by 40%. So 40% of 5 million is $2 million. We can eliminate that 40% cost starting second year. So if you see in this illustration, what is changing is that not sixth year, customer has started getting the benefit starting second year. 2 million is saved in the second year. Additional 1 million is saved because if additional 1 million is saved in third year and so on and so forth. So basically every year he is adding, more, we are adding more value. So MVP1, MVP2, MVP3 and MVP4. We have divided the complete project into 4 buckets, identified highest priority requirement, implemented that first in the MVP1, gave the value benefit to the customer at the end of the year one. And now see that what would happen to the ROI. Customer has invested this $25 million, but when he is getting this $25 million back. So this is basically a merge sell for the 8 years. So 8 years he is getting 4 million positive. That means around 7 years it's taking to get the ROI back, the return of investment back. And also in this scenario, consider a scenario COVID-like situation happens here. And at the end of the second year, customer cannot fund this project anymore. But in the waterfall, we have discussed that customer is left with requirement document and the design document. But in this, the agile model, he has actually deployed a system with 25% requirement in production. If anything happens to the budget on the third year and nothing gets approved because of COVID-like situation, what is customer getting? Customer will have consistent value realized $2 million over year and year again. Whereas in the waterfall model, the value was 0 and customer has already spent $10 million. So in this case, see, the beauty of this agile is that customer has spent $10 million in waterfall and he was not able to get anything because he had only requirement document and design document in his hand. But in the case of agile, customer has spent 10 million, and if anything happens to this project, customer has realized the value of 2 million. So this 2 million year and year will remain with the customer. So let's see what happens in agile. We work in an iterative incremental model. So as I explained again, that at the end of, so out of this MVP1 also, let's say MVP1 talks about 20 different features. So one feature team has picked up in sprint 1, and they have developed that feature, demoed at the end of the sprint, and showed it to stakeholders. If there is any feedback, when we remember we talked about change in requirements. Change in requirements comes from the feedback when customer sees the system for the first time. But in this agile methodology, we are showing him the system first time as soon as possible, maybe 2 to 4 weeks of duration. We're asking our customer to come and attend our sprint demo of what we have built in that sprint. We are showing them demo. And if customer has any feedback, they are providing in that demo. We are taking that feedback, implementing that feedback in sprint 2, and again showing the demo. So let's say maximum it can take 2 cycles to implement the feedback. And at the end of the sprint 2, when customers see that all their feedback is implemented for that one particular feature, customer is happy. No more changes are required in that. And anyway, agile welcomes requirement. At the end of each sprint, we can take the feedback from the customer, implement it. So what would happen is, let's say feature 1 was developed in sprint 1, feature 2 is sprint 2. And in other than developing the feature 2 in sprint 2, what we have done is we have implemented the feedback collected for the feature 1 in sprint 1 demo also in sprint 2. So on and so forth. And let's say it takes multiple sprints to develop some of the feature stack to MVP1. And there are 20 features, right? Let's say it took 20 sprints. So that's the reason we say, although the beauty of agile is that product is built in such a way, incrementally developed in such a way that it can go forward, and we can go forward and deploy it in production, but it's released to production as and when product owner sees it's logical. So let's say if it's logical that those 20% of 25% of the requirement consists of 20 features should be built first, before they can release to customer. So that's how the release is planned. But we know that that customer have started realizing the benefit starting 1 year, first year. We have talked about changes or the feedback is easy to accommodate, as we have talked about that it takes only a sprint demo to show the customer what we have built and get the feedback implemented in next sprint. That's the beauty of agile. Quick review of waterfall versus agile. Return of investment. Waterfall has given us a return of investment in 10 years, whereas agile 7 years. Value realization starts in waterfall after 5 years, whereas agile starts in first year itself. Cost of changes in the waterfall are high. We talked about it, that it takes a CR, then changing the document, doing the development again in waterfall. But in agile, we keep on collecting customer feedback or any change in requirement sprint by sprint. So it's basically lowest in agile, and it comes without additional cost because agile welcomes the changing requirement. So what we have learned, how projects are originated in IT. We have also reviewed revenue buckets, cost bucket, and profit bucket, and how projects are initiated, how a consulting exercise is done, how an opportunity analysis is done, and the opportunities are presented to customer for him to pick. And once one of the opportunities picked at a project, then we have also understood the concept of return of investment and value realization. How soon can you provide value to your customer becomes a key to success. And then understanding executing a project in both agile as well as waterfall. And then we have seen that what are the benefits of the agile over waterfall, that changes can be implemented quickly, return of investment is lower. I mean, basically a quick 7 years versus 10 years, and the value is realized starting first year. So that's what was the overall essence of this session. Thank you, everyone.